Well, what's up, you guys? It's KeAmber Trades, and in today's video, we're going to talk about all of the new changes coming to the Apex Trader Funding Program, effective October 21st. Now, if you are new to my channel, welcome, and if you're not new, welcome back. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and also tap the bell so that you never miss another video from me. Now, I sat through 3 hours worth of information so that you don't have to. I actually extracted the most important clips from that 3-hour interview, and we're going to be playing those clips throughout this particular video. However, if you do want to watch the full 3-hour long video between John and Canadian Futures Trader, I will make sure that I link that video down in the description box as well as the pinned comment. I also am going to make sure that I put timestamps throughout this video so that you can jump around to listen to whatever parts that you decide that you want to listen to in whatever order you want to. Now, before I start to play the clips from the video that have to do with all of the rule changes, I also extracted a couple of clips from the beginning of the interview. There's a very specific reason why I extracted those particular clips. I'm going to play those, give very short commentary afterwards, and then we'll start talking about the rule changes.
Yeah, I can go and say, all right, forget 20 accounts, let's do 10. Forget giving you the ability for all these contracts for later on. I'm going to cut that in half. I'm going to make everyone do safety net. I'm going to make everyone do scaling. I'm going to put caps. We're not going to do discounts. I'm going to make the price 3 times as much. Never going to do one day to pat. That would fix 80% of this and protect us from the bad apples. I'm trying to protect our traders. I don't want this small percentage of bad apples to ruin it for everyone. It's a small percentage. 95% of our people are doing it right. They're trying to do it right, trying to grow, trying to improve. It's the small percent that ruins it for everyone. But I spent months like wrestling with myself, like thinking through these rule adjustments and how do I protect Apex from these attacks and protect our traders? And how do I cut these things from happening and make rules but don't affect our traders, but then don't cause social media nightmares because I put this person, denied this person, or put them on probation, and then everybody's freaking out. It was just drama. That does not mean that Apex is faultless and blameless. And I've said this several times recently. Darren Martins has said it too. We got caught in a bad spot. We weren't prepared for. We weren't prepared for growth. We mishandled a lot of things. We miscommunicated a lot of things, or we didn't communicate properly. Customers were not supported properly, treated properly. So I want to make clear that distinction. It becomes this battle, like it's like the funding companies are against the traders.
Yeah.
And they're just trying to do everything they can. They're going to try to find every rule they can. They're going to try to screw you every way they can. And deny your payout every candidate. That's not true. Well, shouldn't be true. It is. There are some companies out there like that. Yes. It's not all about the bad apple traders and schemers. There's some bad apple companies. But then, then you've got these traders out there that are like trying to take advantage of the company or work around the rules, and who's going to screw over each other for. It's so freaking unhealthy. Like it's out of control. It should not be that way. It should not be like it's this constant mistrust battle. Who's going to screw over who? Enough of that. That's the biggest thing I hate about this whole industry right now. And part of my goal with this new program is to eliminate all that crap.
So the reason why I wanted to play that particular portion or those portions of the video is because in the very beginning of that clip that you heard, he specifically talked about, he listed all of these things that I could have done this, I could have done this, I could have done this, but I didn't want to do that. He talked about how, there's 5 to 10% of traders who are the scammers, the schemers, the bad actors, the bad apples. And he didn't want to implement things that would basically screw over the 90 to 95% of the traders that are trying to do it the right way. However, if you go back and you listen to that list of things, the majority of the list of things that he said are going to be on this list for the rule changes that we're going to go over. And we're going to listen to the clips where he talks about those particular things. Now, there's another clip that I did not include that I initially wanted to, but I decided not to. Just so you guys are aware, one of the reasons why it's been so easy for them the last 3 payouts to get the payouts out a lot faster is because they've done some changes in the support team as far as payouts go. They now basically have two payout teams. You have a team where basically every single day they get these reports, where the reports are basically showing them some of the people who are kind of veering off track. They are maybe not following the rules all the way, maybe they're going too far in drawdown, whatever the case may be. And so they kind of go through these, couple hundred of people each day to make sure that people kind of get on track. And they will be reaching out to those people along the way so that you don't have to sit there and you've traded 8 days, you put in your request, and then you still end up getting denied. So they're putting some of these things in place kind of to be proactive so that by the time you get to requesting your payout on day 8, which is one of the newer changes that we're going to talk about first, there should be a very, very, very low chance of you getting approved. He also talked about how there's a team called the Day 6 team, where basically on day 6, they understand that probably in 2 days, 2 more trading days, you're going to be requesting a payout. So they're going to go through and make sure there are certain things that are in place and making sure that you have been following the rules. If they decide that you have been following the rules, they're going to put a little check mark in the comment section of your account so that when you go to request your payout on day 8, it's a lot easier for the person that is reviewing your account to make sure, they can go over the few rules of the 30% consistency and some of the other stuff that we'll talk about. And they're also going to see that you had that day 6 check so that when they do their quicker, checklist and they see that check mark from day 6, they can quickly go ahead and approve your account as long as in those 2 days you didn't do something crazy, basically. Okay. So that is how they've been able to make the payout process a lot quicker, as well as developing some relationships with the payout company, the merchant that they use, and things like that. So let's go ahead and get into the changes. So the first change is that there's no more payout window, so you don't have to worry about only requesting from the 1st to the 5th or the 15th or the 20th. They are also changing things to where there's no longer 10 trading days. Now you only need 8 trading days. And within those 8 trading days, you are required to have at least 5 days of $100 or more. That's it as far as that particular rule goes. He says that he doesn't care what you do the other days, as long as you have at least 5 days of $100 or more. That's all that matters to him. So let's go ahead and play that particular clip.
There's not going to be any more payout request period. Right now, it's October 18th, right in the middle of the 15th through the 20th request period. This is the last request period. Okay. After this, no more. Starting on November 1st, the new program will open up as far as the pay side. Okay. Between now and November 1st, we got to implement a couple more systems and stuff and be ready for it. What that's going to be is right now, or in the, what it has been is you have to trade 10 trading days. And then you request 1st through 5th, 15th through 20th. 15th through 20th, first, go on. No more 10 trading days. You need 8 trading days with 5 of those being at least $100 a day. Okay. That's it. And then you can request. So 8 trading days, 5 of the days, $100 a day. The night of the 8th, like your 8th trading day at 6 Eastern, when it updates, you can submit a request.
All right, so pretty simple rule change. Rule change number 2 is now the 30% consistency rule is a hard, fast rule. Now, I personally am a proponent of this because one of the problems that I felt like Apex had for a while now is there were so many gray area rules and everything was just so subjective. So you might have someone who gets approved at 39% consistency, but then you have another person who gets denied at 32% consistency. So now the 30% consistency rule is a hard, fast rule. So if you request with 31% consistency, you are going to be denied. It's that simple. Now I put this slide together because I understand that math is not everyone's strong suit. I personally, and a lot of other mods and even YouTube creators, we get a lot of questions regarding the 30% consistency rule. Now there are 2 different ways that you can calculate your consistency. And this particular way that you see on the screen right now is the way that most people calculate it, where you calculate it at the end once you are ready to request. However, I'm going to show you a second way that you can calculate it on a daily basis to figure out how much you need in your account to request to make sure that you are not over the 30% consistency rule. Okay. So the first way, again, is the most common way. Let's say that you have a $50,000 account. Your balance at the time of request is $54,000. So your total profit at request is $4,000. Now to calculate, all you're going to do is take $4,000. That's your total profit, times 0.3, and that's going to get you $1,200. The reason why you multiply by 0.3 is because that is the decimal version of 30%. If you did not know, if you have a percentage and you want to figure out the decimal, you just take the decimal and move it to the left 2 times. It's that simple. So this means that when you request with a $4,000 balance, no one day can be more than $1,200 of profit. The second way of calculating is my personal favorite. So let's say that you are on day 3 of trading your PA, or let's say it's day 3 between payouts, doesn't really matter, and your current highest day is $1,500 profit. What you're going to do is you're going to take the $1,500 and you're going to divide it by 0.3, and that's going to give you the total amount of profit that you need in your account at request, when you request a payout, in order for you to not be denied. Okay, so $1,500 divided by 0.3 is going to get you $5,000. That means that when you request a payout, the total profit on your account at that time needs to be $5,000. So if you have a $50,000 account, you need to be at $55,000. If you have a $100,000 account, it needs to be $105,000. That's simple. Hopefully that helped you guys to understand the consistency rule. Now let's go ahead and move on.
Is it staying at 30 where it was? A hard and fast rule. Not a, well, it's not in 4. We'll look at it's 30%. Period. Keep it simple.
Real simple. Okay, so rule change number 3 is the flipping rule has now been removed. So before, you had to have 10 trading days and you could only flip 20% of your trading days. And flipping, for whatever reason, people get confused with this, but flipping is, there's 2 different ways that you could flip before. One of the ways was, okay, I don't really want to trade today, so I'm going to enter and exit a trade really, really quick, and then I'm done for the day. Well, because so many people were using that as a way to kind of get around the flipping rule, and let's say that they're making $1,000 a day, and then they get to the payout threshold, and then they would reduce and let's say make $50 a day. Well, that's not really flipping. However, it's a withdrawal strategy, which is part of the flipping rule that they had prior to. So now that has been removed, and we'll listen to the clip.
Flipping, word on the street, no flipping rule anymore.
Yeah. So a couple things. So yeah, no longer 10 days. Only 8 days.
Yep.
There's no more flipping rule. Flipping rule's gone. If you have 8 days and at least 5 of them are $100 profit, I don't care what you do the days.
All right, pretty simple. So rule change number 4, you will now be required to have a safety net in your account when you request a payout. What does this mean? So with a safety net, before all of these rule changes, when you had a $50,000 account, in order for you to request a payout, your balance had to be $52,600, and then you could request up to $2,000 on that particular account. Now, because you require a safety net, now once you get to $52,600, you still can't request a payout. Anything that you make over $52,600, you can now withdraw. So let's say that you decide at $53,000 you want to request a payout. Well, you can only withdraw $400 because requesting $400 from $53,000 puts you at $52,600. You cannot dip into the safety net. Okay, so let's listen to that clip.
Safety net is going to be required to be left in the account moving forward. Okay. Some people don't have a problem with that. Some people will have a problem with that. But safety net meaning you're trailing. So if you have a $50,000 account, you know that you got to get it up to $52,600 for your trail to stop moving. Your trail will be at $50,100. Okay. Safety net has to stay in the account. You can withdraw over the $52,600. Why are we doing safety net? Well, it would surprise you, shock you maybe, how after a payout period, how many accounts are blown the next day? Because people get to $52,600, they take out $2,000, they have $500 left, and they blow their account. Also, that's been a big part of some of the scam schemes, working the system, whatever, is just getting that to that bare minimum real quick and taking that one withdrawal and killing the account and getting the other one.
So now you need a safety net. All right, so rule change number 5 is there is now a scaling plan as well, which means that whatever the max contracts that you can have on a particular account, you can go through Apex's website to see what the max contracts is per account size. But again, let's use a 50K account For example, the max number of contracts you can use on a 50K account is 10 contracts. However, starting tomorrow, October 21st, you cannot go straight in with 10 contracts. There's going to be very specific times where you can actually increase to 10. So let's listen to that clip.
Scaling.
Yes.
Some people know what scaling is. So there will be call it the Apex scaling plan, which is very simple. Very simple. Half contracts until you reach your safety net. So you got a 50K account, you can do 10 contracts, right? You can only do 5 contracts until you get to that 52.6. That way you're taking it a little slower, a little less contracts, a little less likely to go overboard, over risk, over leverage, blow your account, get to that safety net. That safety net gets you past the trailing stop. It gets you to the point of now you can build balance for payout requests. Now you built yourself a cushion there. Now you can do full contracts of 10.
Simple.
Now, we don't program it in. We
Okay.
don't block you. When you get to that 52.6, as an example, and your trailing threshold stops, right? It no longer follows you. You can do 10. Your balance comes under 52.6, you can still do 10. We're not going to do like they do. And now you're up, now you're down. Get your trail to stop. Then you can do the 10. If you fall back under the 52.6, I don't care.
All right, so the scaling plan to me is not really that big of a deal. I don't really use a bunch of contracts. However, one of the things that he did say, if you guys notice, is that it's not hard coded in. So there are some companies that have scaling plans where it is hard coded in. It's not going to allow you to go more contracts than you're able to do. But he did say in a different part of the video shortly after the clip that I played, or between the two clips that I played, is that, if you accidentally do 6 contracts, they're not going to be bothered. Okay. However, when they go to look at your account for payout and they see that like 75% of the time you did 8 contracts on your way up and now you try to drop down, well, you're not going to be paid out that money. Okay. It's that simple. So it's really simple, you guys. Just use really good risk management. Use half of the contracts until you get to the safety net. The one good thing is that, like he said, with other companies, whether you take a payout or whatever, you have a losing day. Once you get back within that threshold, now you can only use the number of contracts that are associated with your balance. With Apex, they only care that you are going to use up to half of the contracts until you reach the payout threshold. Then from there, you can unlock the full amount. So even if you dip below 52.6 on a 50K account, you can still use 10 contracts. They really don't care. Now, who knows how long that's going to be, but that's what they say. So rule change number 6 is that it is now a 5-to-1 risk to reward ratio. Before it was 3-to-4. Now they are saying it is a 5-to-1. Now in a part of the video, I don't think that I have this in the clip, he talked about how it's not on a per trade basis. I think that the reason a lot of us, including myself, thought that it was on a per trade basis is because in the 13-minute video that he put out not too long ago, he was going through someone's account and showing how, they see everything on a per trade basis. According to him, it's not going to be that. With the risk to reward, if you are risking $100, if your reward is $100, you cannot risk more than $500. That's simple. So let's listen to that clip.
Things about risk management. So new rule, forget the 3-to-1 or 4-to-1. Now, some people, I'm saying 4-to-1. Some people like to say 1-to-4. Simple. If you're trying to make $100 profit, don't let the market go more than 400 against you. Okay. That's what I'm saying. Changing that to 5-to-1. Right? Upping it for you. Your strategy or system historically makes $100. Then don't risk or lose more than $500 on average. This is not per trade, per day. If I'm looking at it over a few days, if you know you're going for $100, $100 is your trajectory. Don't let it go more than $500 against you.
All right. So I thought I didn't include that this is not a per trade thing, but obviously I did. So really simple, just have a good risk to reward ratio. All right. So this rule right here in particular, I kind of question a little bit. And the reason why I question it, I'm going to explain after we go through this particular clip, but there is a second 30% rule, and this one has to do with the drawdown in your particular account. Let's run the clip.
Another 30% rule. What do I mean by that? I mean, do not let your live, active, unrealized, negative P&L go down more than 30% of your profit balance.
Okay.
Start of the day. What does that mean? I start the day with $10,000 of profit showing in my account. Okay. Start with 10 grand. What's 30% of that? 3 grand.
Okay.
So if I'm in a trade or multiple, whatever, my live PNL that's showing negative, 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 don't let that thing go further than negative $3,000.
All right, so really quickly before we get into the 8th and final rule, here is my problem with rule number 7. In the video, he gave examples of a $10,000 profit. He even talked about how, if you have a $100,000 live account, you would not let your drawdown get inside, when you're in a trade or multiple trades at a time, you would never let your drawdown get to $30,000. That is 100% correct. However, the example of $10,000 profit, the example of a $100,000 live account is not realistic for the majority of traders, okay? To reach a $10,000 profit on an account is amazing, but how many of your traders are actually doing that? So when I see a rule like this, what I guess kind of gets to me is, what if you have someone like myself where I'm not looking to make home runs? My only goal on my PAs is to make $200 to $300 a day, more specifically $200 a day, but whatever. And the reason why is because if I am trading with a prop firm where I am maxed out on how much I can withdraw each payout period until everything is uncapped, what is the purpose of building a huge buffer? I personally don't see it, but I understand why other people do. So if I'm making $200 a day, let's say that I have a fresh PA, okay? I made $200 my first day. Day 2, remember he said you cannot risk more than 30% of your starting total profit on the account at the start of the day. So that means on day 2, if I have $200 profit, I cannot let any trade go more than $60 against me. Now, I am a scalper. I scalp a 1-to-1 risk to reward ratio, 18 ticks on the NASDAQ. So I'm risking 93.98 to make 86.02. That means that on day 2, my very first trade, I can breach that 30% rule. Now, he said it's not a hard, fast rule. They're going to, look, again, here's another subjective thing, right? But the problem is, I feel like this particular rule was put into place not thinking about some of the scalpers, not thinking about some of the people who might just trade micros. I just have a huge problem personally with that particular rule, but that's just me. All right. So rule number 8 is that you can now have uncapped payouts after 6 payouts. So before with Apex, you had to have at least 3 withdrawal months, meaning at least 1 withdrawal in 3 different months. And then you had uncapped payouts. Now, instead of that, it's going to be 6 payouts total.
The other thing is this, previously, you had to wait to your 4th month to take out 100%.
Yes.
Now it's your 6th withdrawal.
All right, so you heard all the rule changes. Like I said in the beginning of the video, I wanted to show the beginning clips because if you look at this particular list right here, all the things that he named that I didn't want to do this, I could have done this, I could have done this. The majority of what he said he could have done and didn't want to do to punish the 90 to 95% of the actual traders, most of that stuff is on this list. I mean, it kind of is what it is. I am someone who, for me, like, don't complain about it. If you don't like it, go elsewhere. And that is not because I shield for Apex. It's not because I used to be a mod in their Discord channel. I am literally stating to you guys that we have options for a reason. If a particular firm's rules do not work for you, go where the rules work for your particular strategy and the way that you trade. It's that simple. So we'll see what everything looks like once everything is implemented. Again, well, today is October 20th. All of these rules are going to go into place starting tomorrow, but you will not be able to start withdrawing as far as the 8 trading days and things like that until November 1st. So we got a couple of weeks, and they wanted to do that because there's still some systems that they need to implement. So that's all I got for you guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. I welcome any and all commentary, good or bad. None of it affects me, but I would like to know how you guys feel. What are your thoughts and opinions about all of the changes that are coming? Again, please like the video on your way out if you haven't already. Subscribe if you haven't already. But other than that, I will see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.